Welcome back. As the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth Sports, Arts and Culture continues its regional education outreach across the northeastern parts of the country, the focus is not only on career guidance, but also on access. The program, which includes school visits and career fairs, is bringing institutions directly to learners in the regions such as Kavango East, Kavango West, as well as the Zambezi, ensuring that young people, especially in rural areas, are equipped with the information they need to plan their futures. A key part of this conversation is student funding. And the Namibia Students Financial Assistance Fund, now operating more closely under the ministry following its reintegration, plays a central role in ensuring that learners are not only informed about opportunities, but are also able to access them. Joining us now is Mr. David Nathinge from NSFAF. Sir, good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, very much, Nina. And thank you to the viewers. And it's good that you have me here.
Well, thank you so much for being here. As I mentioned, this initiative is really bringing multiple institutions directly to these schools. But from your perspective, how impactful and important is this kind of face-to-face engagement, especially, in the rural communities?
Thank you very much for this question. Very important. This integration of getting together with the community is so important, such that you get to really understand the perspective of particularly our youth who have a future, that they are looking towards a future, that in the rural setup, it's actually so important that when you meet face to face, you actually be able to give feedback directly. And the future for the youth matter, and us being there, it's really of utmost importance, so that no child in Namibia should be left out from any information.
Of course, having worked closely with, learners, students, by working with NSFAS over the past couple of years, what are some of the biggest concerns you've learned that learners have after, or when they reach grade 12 or after grade 12?
Yeah. Thank you so much again. Usually when a learner reaches, particularly the ordinary level, which we call grade 11, and or AS, which is now grade 12, anxiety now kicks in, because they're beginning to realize that, they have entered a grade for which now the responsibility tend to be getting different. So the concern from their side is always like, who is going to pay for my tertiary education? And with that, with the responsibility given to NSFAF as part of its mandate to provide financial assistance, they do approach NSFAF. Given that there are also career fairs that are at school, and getting that feedback early, it plays a vital role. And as NSFAF, we have always been getting this feedback from the students, particularly also getting to know, will they have access to the application platform? What are the information? And this is what really gives them anxiety, and that's how we now pitch in.
Well, I don't know if you saw earlier in our news story, but we, of course, covered that the ministry is doing this outreach across the country. And some of the learners were saying that they were so happy that, this information has been brought closer to them and help them understand what the next steps are. And one of the learners was saying that she didn't realize how the pointing system works in order to get funding from NSFAF. So take us through that, because, that was a concern and a revelation to her at the same time. So how does it work now in terms of learners approaching NSFAS for funding? Take us through the process.
Thank you so much. Maybe before the process, just to indicate that the ministry now that has grown big, it actually put together basic and higher education together. And that really provides synergy so that we coordinate all this information to our learners. Now, the point system works like this. Through the funding, even through the admission into university or tertiary program, so you as a learner, you're required to meet certain points. For example, for you to enter a diploma, in terms of the NSFAF funding, you need to have 22 points. For a degree, you need to have 25 points in 5 subjects, which should also include English. So these are actually what we call the minimum requirements. However, there are also some others, way you can get funding, or you can enter a tertiary education, either through mature age or through recognition via for prior learning, and also through recognition that you have maybe attained another qualification. However, as a learner exiting high school, the point that are required really do matter. And I think as we move on, we would be engaging the learners so that we can actually now that realizing that they are not aware of this, we will just engage more so that we can provide more information to them.
What should high school learners be doing right now to prepare for the NSFAF applications, especially, as we're preparing for exams end of the year? I know it's a lot of stress for them, but they should also keep in mind that there's requirements that NSFAF has, and what are those?
Thank you very much. I think number one is to know what is that they want to study, because that's the key. Because when they apply to the institution, they know will they now get that admission local? Will the points they will get will take them to a TVET program or higher education program? Secondly is now the minimum points that are required. They need to take care of that. And also the other requirements, such as they need to provide us with their copy of ID. So if they don't have an ID now, they should rather make effort to make sure that they go to Home Affairs and get an ID. Plus then any other requirements, particularly if our students who are from disadvantaged background with a family income of less than 300,000, they do qualify to get financial assistance in terms of a loan towards the non-tuition fees. So we will then require that they bring along the payslip of their parents or guardians. And when a learner doesn't have parents, so then we will require declaration that the parents are no more.
Well, Mr. Nathinge, any additional information that you'd like to share with us this evening concerning this?
Thank you very much. Additional information is just that, the NSFAF application usually is announced. And then with that, we do normally emphasize the deadline. The deadlines are very important so that we can actually validate what they have given us, to validate it against the set requirements. The earlier that validation is done, the better. But that should be done first with a quick response from when we do invite for application, that the prospective applicants apply in time. So that one is very key. And also, further to indicate that NSFAF normally publish information on its website, and also realizing that most of our youth really on social media. So on the NSFAF page, we provide more information, and students and even parents out there should feel free to contact NSFAF within means that are communicated as point of communication.
Well, we know that the Ministry of Education is not quite yet done with this outreach. I think they've still got another week or two to do. But what message is it that you'd like to leave with learners who are expecting this outreach to come to their region, and they may be feeling uncertain or discouraged about their chances of furthering their education?
Thank you very much. It's really to encourage learners to take this opportunity. When the ministry announced that we will visit a particular region, we would like learners to participate in that visitation, because this is where they can get information. Furthermore, we also would like to indicate that, as announced by Her Excellency the President, that there is now subsidized funding. It's that we do not want any eligible Namibian student to miss out on this opportunity. Nobody should be left out if they are eligible for subsidized funding. This is really key. We would like, as a nation, that the aspiration of the Namibian youth are taken care of, so that they build their own country and become #1 citizens of their own country.
Mr. David Nathinge, thank you so much for joining us here this evening on the Daily Roundup.
Thank you so much, Nina. And I would like to also thank NBC for this platform, and we look forward to reach out to NBC so that we can have more discussions, so that our viewers out there, they get the information that we would like them to receive. Thank you once again.
Well, we're going to take a brief break. We'll be right back after that.